All right, hello everybody, and just thank you for coming to this Inform Your Community Craftivism event. My name is Jake. My pronouns are he, they. I am a young white man with a dark gray shirt, brown hair. I'm wearing headphones, and my background is a light bluish color. Closed captioning is enabled and can be turned on by participants. And here at Inform Your Community, we offer events that combine important and impactful information with having fun. Feel free to visit our website at www.informyourcommunity.org, where you can find our social media links on the bottom of that site. You can also tell your friends to sign up for our mailing list on the top right of our website. And of course, you can donate using our donate link also at the top right of the page. If you're watching the recording of this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube. It really helps us out. And we love to hear what you think of our crafts, events, and to see your finished products on social media. So this event is part of our Craftivism program, where adults learn different art techniques while discussing relevant social issues. And today's topic is art appreciation. Understanding more about art appreciation is an important topic for many reasons. Since the 1900s, psychiatrists including Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud have been using art in their therapeutic practices. A more concerning fact is that after 200 years, the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts, the nation's first art school and museum, is announcing the end of its degree program. So it sounds like great reasons for us to get to know more about this topic. And today we have with us Stacey as our co-facilitator. Stacey is not only CEO of Inform Your Community, but was also a former entrepreneur of a children's crafting business in Lower Manhattan for 5 years. Welcome, Stacey.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm so happy to be here. My pronouns are she and her, and I am a white woman with salt and pepper hair, and I have a black background. And I'm happy to be here.
Amazing. We're also grateful to have Tyler here with us to help us with tech issues and help monitor the chat. Throughout the craft, if you have any questions or comments on the craft or the topic, feel free to unmute yourself, talk or write in the chat, and we love to see your work in progress. So feel free to show your project to the camera as you make it and when it's complete. Now I'd just like to take a moment to introduce our crafter, Stacey L. Stacey will be helping us with learning our art technique today, which is the marble pour. So Stacey, would you mind telling us more about the technique we're learning about today?
Sure, no problem. Welcome everyone. My name is Stacey. My pronouns are she and her. I am a white woman with curly brown hair. My shirt is, um, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, totally can
Okay,
hear you.
okay, great, sorry. My shirt is a navy blue. My background is blurred out actually. So today we are making a marble pour, which is our art technique. I picked this craft because I was drawn so much to the finished product, which you are all going to love your craft. I thought it was a great way for us to all learn how to incorporate a particular medium in with acrylic paint. Um, so for our art technique today, we are going to be learning about marble pouring on canvas. Um, and so, Stacey, have you done this medium before?
So sorry. I have only done it once. It is a great craft, and it's a great way to have a finished beautiful project at the end as well. It really is kind of cool. It's versatile and so much fun with the acrylic paint.
Yes, I
Really
agree.
love it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a very beautiful finished product. So before we begin, I just want to let everyone know what they will need. So everyone is going to need 30 milliliters of water. I do have mine here in a cup, as you can see. 30 milliliters measured out is 2 tablespoons. You will need scissors, disposable damp towels or rag or paper towels, measuring materials, a teaspoon, a tablespoon, also a 2-liter soda bottle cap work for some of our measurements, and also a water bottle cap. So if you don't have teaspoons or tablespoons. A plate that is ceramic, and it's important to know that that plate, either ceramic or plastic, something that you don't love, that can be tossed, not cardboard or metal. As you can see, I have some of these covers here, so I'm using that because I can toss those. These are covers to like those foil trays that are disposable. You will also need a garbage bag or a plastic tablecloth to cover and protect your surface area. It is important to note that everything that you're going to be used for measuring and even to put down to cover measuring and the plate to pour onto is something disposable that you're not going to use again in the future for any type of eating or anything like that. If you don't have our kit, if you have any type of mini canvas 4x6 or smaller, a marble, just one marble or a toothpick will work as well. Liquitex Flow Aid. If not, then if you don't use that and mix with the acrylic paint, the marble won't be able to be used because it will be too thick to roll. But that's okay. Even at that, you can start with using a toothpick. So if you have a toothpick. Acrylic paint in 2 colors, preferably a lighter and a darker, and white or black, if you can gather that paint. 5 small disposable cups, plastic for mixing, a pair of disposable gloves, a cosmetic sponge, a foam brush, or a large paintbrush, or even a paper towel can be used. And a large disposable plastic bag, a garbage bag, or a plastic shopping bag is fine too. That's to cover your area. Okay, so if you do have our kit, you do have the canvas, you have 3 acrylic paints, at least one that is lighter, one that is dark, and either you may have white or black, one that is bright. A sponge, a marble, wooden sticks, a pair of gloves, the plastic cups, the Liquitex Flow it in a packet, and you have foil, cardstock, a plastic bag, or a large sheet for plastic. So those are items to be gathered. And then we are going to prep our workspace with those items. So if you can gather your items. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It seems like a messy craft. Is it a messy craft?
It is, yes, as you can tell. Yeah, so that is a warning that I do want to say, that it is a messy craft and you do want to protect your furniture. So there is some layering involved, so that you can definitely protect the area that you are going to be working in. So step 1 really is preparing your workspace area, like all artists do, is like to prep their studio. So you have your something plastic. If you can take that and put that down first, because again, your medium won't go through the plastic. So that is what you're gonna place down first, or your garbage bag, the plastic tablecloth. If you have some paper, if you have our kit, you have this cardstock. So you're going to be using the cardstock next. Again, another layering item for your workspace area, which is this orange sheet of paper to protect that. You're then going to take your plastic or ceramic plate and put that on top of that. And then you're going to take a piece of foil and we're going to layer that inside the plate. So that is your layering for your workspace area. And while our crafters are working on their workspace and making sure that they have the materials, Stacey, I'm hoping you can tell us some art appreciation terms that we should all know.
I would absolutely be happy to help with that. Wonderful. I see you're really well protected there. There are a lot of important terms to know about art appreciation, and And but like most people only need to know a few to just kind of understand what people are talking about related to art. We can cover, you know, some of these today, but clearly we can't cover all of them. Art in itself is a term that I'm sure there's a lot of controversy about what, you know, what does art mean? What is art? And so we're defining it as the expression of human creativity or imagination in any medium that may be viewed as beautiful, may evoke emotions, or may inspire ideas. So that's how we define it. Notice the use of the word human there. Um, and imagination, right? Which are, you know, a wonderful idea, this imagination or creativity. Also, the word composition is an important word. It's about the components of an artwork and how they're arranged in relation to each other, but also in relation to people, in relation to objects, in relation to space. For example, you might think of like a musical composition.
Yes, those are, yeah, definitely important terms to know. And we are, thank you so much for sharing those with us. And I know the next thing that is important for us to know today. Can you guess what that is?
What is that?
The next step of our project.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so if you've all gathered your water, as you can see, I'm just taking out all of my items as well. Here's our marble. Okay, so we are going to work on measuring our water. So if one thing to note to start, if you are unsure how much of the medium to add, always keep in mind that less is better. So it's important to know that when working with mediums, that when added to paint, the mediums do change the consistency of paint, allowing an artist to adjust the optical properties of their paint. So obviously, like, if you know, you can always add more. So start with less and always add more if you're not happy with the way the movement and flow of your paint is working with you. So with this particular medium, the Liquitex, this makes the acrylic paint flow better. So another important thing to note is Liquitex mixture is 1 part to 20 parts water. So I'm going to show you now for this, with the amount of paint that you have, how much to do that 1 part to 20 parts. Again, if you're not sure how much of the medium to add, less is always more, because you don't want to change the consistency too much. Okay, so you are going to line up your cup, and we're going to start with 30 milliliters of water. Now 30 milliliters is equivalent to 2 tablespoons. So you're going to take one of your cups and add 2 tablespoons of water to that cup. That's our tablespoon, and this cup has the 2 tablespoons of water in it. Okay, so to do the 1 to 20 parts, we're going to now add 1.5 milliliters of the Liquitex to that 30 milliliters, so that we have our water mixture with our Liquitex. So 0.5 milliliters is 1/8 of a teaspoon. So again, I don't particularly have a teaspoon that I don't plan on using in my kitchen. So I can tell you that if you have a water bottle cap, if you can see, I've tried to blue out like the inside rim of that. So there are 2 usual markings in there. So it's that, sorry, that inside rim of the water bottle is actually 1/8 of a teaspoon. So you can use that as a guide. So we're going to need 1.5 milliliters. So I need 3 of those, and I'm going to add that into my water mixture. Now, if you have our kit, you have a packet of the Liquitex. So you'd want to cut that open and do, sorry, just trying to measure, 1.5 into your 30 milliliters of water. And then we're just going to take a toothpick and mix that up. So that is our mixture. And then what we want to do there is in our remaining cups, our paint is going to go in the remaining cups. So in each of those cups, we're going to add a teaspoon of this water mixture into there. A teaspoon is 5 milliliters. A teaspoon is also a teaspoon is 5 mLs. So I have a teaspoon here, and I'm going to take a teaspoon of this mixture and place it into each of these cups. And in our future steps, you'll see our paint then is going to go into those cups. Okay, so again, you first want to take your 30 mLs, 1.5 milliliters of Liquitex into your 2 tablespoons of plain water, and then a teaspoon of that medium mixture into each of your cups.
And by the way, I did put up a slide sort of what those measurements were. So hopefully people were able to see those as well.
Great, thank you so much. So while our crafters are doing that, making their water and medium mixture, I wanted to state that while listening to your definition of art, it actually made me think how controversial art can actually be, and how artistic expression is used in so many facets of our life to convey beliefs, feelings, and ideas. So Art Spiegelman merged visual art and writing with his graphic novel Mouse. That tackles many issues surrounding the Holocaust. Vinnie Bagwell's sculptures, sorry, that's Vinnie Bagwell's, his sculptures help bring attention, thank you. Bring attention to historically significant African Americans and the lives of enslaved people. So I'm not an expert, but I was hoping you could talk a bit more on this.
Sure, absolutely. Take for instance, like your favorite song, listen to the words, think about the artist and what they might have gone through, at the time of writing that song that inspired them. George Eliot, for example, chose to write with a male pseudonym, though she was a female writer, in order to be taken more seriously as a fiction writer during her time. Beethoven, here's another example. I mean, he was deaf when he was composing music. His work kind of bordered during the classical period and later into the romantic period. So it was in 2 different art kind of movements or art genres. And so, and I should say art genres involve art that has a specific style. So there's another word I want to tell you about. Art genre has a specific or distinguishable style. This could be like a philosophy or a goal in mind. And it has like a following of different artists during a distinct time period. But it doesn't necessarily mean just different artists that follow this movement, but also other people, maybe patrons of the arts, fans of the art form. And these movements, happen all around the world. Indeed now there's, art movements and plenty of room for creativity, audience engagement, freedom of speech and expression, all the time, all around us.
Yeah, that sounds lovely, actually.
But but we can all experience art all the time, even if we're not particularly following or involved with an art movement. There's always a museum, an art-oriented event, a festival in our communities, in person, and nowadays even online, like this one, right? And according to the National Endowment of the Arts, a survey they conducted, there was 1,413 different outdoor arts festivals in the United States in a single year, which is just amazing. So much there. And if you live or travel to South Carolina, you can see the Charleston Museum, which is the first museum in the U.S. and it was founded in 1773, which is amazing.
Wow. But these kinds of experiences are important. They actually, 2 in 1 people say an arts related experience have changed their viewpoint about something. And nearly 7 in 10 Americans believe that the arts improve healing and healthcare and help to unify their communities. In fact, I'm going to need your help in uniting our community together right now in this project as I move on to step 3. Okay, so step 3 as we move forward is adding the paint to our mixture of water and the Liquitex medium. So if you're unsure of your color choices, I suggest possibly just watching these next steps and then watching this step and then proceeding with your own before you move forward. And also this could be a part, since we're dealing with paint, if you don't want to get it on your hands, this could be a good time to put your gloves on if you'd like, because you will get some paint on your hands, which is washable and will remove from your hands. So in your kit, you'll notice, and I have a white, a red, and a yellow here. So you will have 3 colors. This is acrylic paint. So I just want to take a moment and talk about why we're using acrylic paint and even why use acrylic paint. It's less expensive to use. It's washable when wet. It mixes well with this particular medium, the Liquitex, to create a great flow and a great finished product. So what I'd like you to think about is decide what color you would like your background to be on your canvas. And you would want that background to be a lighter color. Or if you have white, you can take white, like, so I'm going to make a lighter, like maybe pink color with my white. So you can actually take your lighter, you can blend white with a darker color to make it lighter in one of your cups. So each tube of paint that you have is approximately 1 tablespoon. So what you want to do with this is you're using 1 tablespoon of the acrylic paint to the 1 teaspoon of water mixture, which is what we have already in our cups. So if you're blending 2 colors to make a lighter color, make your white mixture first so that you have that mixture and you already have that mixed with the medium to then add it to like a little bit of your darker color to that. Because basically you're going to make your white and then separate it out into a cup. So you have your lighter color to use. So once your white is mixed with the water medium mixture, you can take another cup and pour some of that white into it and set it aside, which you should have actually a probably then a plain cup. So to make that, not one that has like a water mixture in it, to separate that out. So measure your tablespoon of paint and mix each color in each of the cups, and we're going to mix them with a wooden spoon. So that's what we're going to be doing next. But again, you really don't have to measure this out because each one is a tablespoon already. So we're just going to pour it into our cups. Be sure when you're adding the paint and stirring it into our Liquitex mixture that you're not over mixing, because what will happen is your paint will get foamy and you don't really want it to foam. The mixture should be a consistency of pancake batter, so pourable. You want it to be a pourable mixture. Again, so something to remember is if you're blending, I'm just mixing up my paints a little bit here in the cup because it doesn't seem to be pourable, but it will be once I mix it. So again, if you're blending, take that smaller cup of white and set it aside. Again, you'll see I'm going to make my white first because I'm thinking ahead. So what my background color is going to be, and I'm thinking pink because I'm going to mix a little bit of the red into my white mixture. So I'm going to make my white first. So I'm just taking white and putting that 1 tablespoon of white into one of my cups that has the Liquitex in it, and I'm going to mix that up and make that a pourable mixture. And we're going to mix that well.
And I wanted to ask you just a
Yes.
quick question is, do they have to use a wooden spoon?
It just has to be something that's not going to, that is disposable. So a
Okay.
toothpick or something metal. If you have something metal, just not a paper straw.
Okay.
A plastic straw is fine. You know, if you don't have toothpicks and you're looking for something to mix with, but just not paper, because paper is going to be absorbed by the Liquitex mixture, and you're not going to be able to use it. That's why we've protected our workspace area with plastic underneath it, because if we were to spill the and you only have paper under you, you're really not going to protect your table underneath that, because the medium is going to go right through the paper and absorb it and go right into your wood furniture, possibly underneath. So the plastic is that barrier. So wood or plastic is really better to use to mix.
That's fair. That's fair. And are they mixing all of their colors now with the Liquitex?
Yeah, my white was a little not easy to work with, so I took a little extra time to mix it. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's fantastic. And actually, while you're working on mixing the colors, I was going to say I have a trivia question for you.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So, what movie really helped bring museums into the mainstream?
Great question. I'm not sure.
Okay, I got the answer to that. And some of you may have seen it. It's the 1986 movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And it was a huge hit. I'm sure lots of people have seen it. And it involves a scene where the main characters go to a museum and they end up seeing a painting and really kind of taking some time and admire a painting by Seurat. And so it really helped, going to museums seemed kind of cool and mainstream. And once again, with this like introduction of AI, I mentioned that we defined art as like human art. But with the introduction of AI art, there really is this whole new mainstream version of art because depending on how you define it, it's more accessible to people to be able to kind of create things and using artificial intelligence to create art. But it's not without its controversies. There are about 13, I think it was 13 copyright related lawsuits just in 2023 to try to protect, and these were lawsuits filed against AI platforms to protect artists and their copyrighted work. So it's really, it's mainstream, but AI is definitely not without its controversies, to be sure, when it comes to being related to art. But we know that you all are working on art right now. And so why don't are you ready for us to go on to the next step?
Yes, I think so. Let's see. I'm still working on mixing these colors and making my background color.
That's fantastic. No problem at all. And they look kind of cool.
Yes. So I just want to say how, like, if you are mixing colors, I took my stick because I don't want to. I took just the stick from my red and used that to mix in that little bit of white that I set aside to make a color that I'm happy with. So I didn't really need to pour any more paint into it to use that. So, you can start with that. So always remember that rule of thumb is use less because you could always add more. So that works with the paint as well, not just the medium itself. So as you can see, I got like a nice lighter color there, a little pink on the bottom. So I'm happy with that. So yes, so definitely, I would suggest as we move forward, they do have my colors all mixed. Maybe you do want to, if you haven't decided on your background color with the paints that you have, maybe just still watch. And so that you can see maybe the finished product before you move forward. So whatever lighter color you have, the next step would be we're going to paint that lighter color all on the background of this. Now, I do want to note and just tell you that I happen to have a 5x7 canvas. Those that got our kit, you do have 4x6 to start with, and that's totally fine. So my surface area is just a little bit bigger, but it doesn't matter. It's going to work. So for right now, I'm just going to pour what I have onto here. And this is my background. And I'm just going to put it with the sponge and cover the whole area of my canvas. And you do want this to be somewhat thick. It doesn't have to be a very thin layer, because what you want, our goal is to have all of this flowing together, like all of our paints. And I'm very happy.
Pretty color.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm so happy with the pink I made. I surprised myself. Okay, so that's my combined color. Now, so what we want to do is really, we're going to take our other colors. I'm going to take the sticks out because it's just easier to pour. And we're going to just make droplets on there and combine. You can play around with your designs as you master this craft and going forward. But I will show you how we're going to layer. I'm going to start with my lighter colors. So I'm going to do a droplet of white here and another one. And I'm just going to do in the corners 4. And I'm going to do one in the middle. Okay. I'm going to take some red and go in the middle, kind of like around those. And I'm just, you can really do this however you'd like. And I'm going to take my yellow and go in the centers of the white. And what this will help us do, and if you drip a little outside of it, it's totally fine, because we're going to create like a marbleized effect. I'm going to do one more droplet. So again, you can really put however many you'd like. Again, that less is more kind of comes into play, because as you're going forward, you can always add other droplets if you're not happy with the finished product. So I am going to, at this point, find my marble. Now, if you don't have a marble, you can start to maneuver this around with a toothpick or a stick of any sort that you have. But I am going to drop the marble in the center and then start to roll it around. And just want to move my paints so that in case any drip, what this is for is your foil and ceramic or plastic tray is really to catch any excess that drips off. So I'm going to put my marble there, and it's a lot easier if you kind of cup the sides of your canvas with your hands like this, because the marble will tend to run off the sides. But if your hands are cupped there, you can kind of just whoop, like push it back on. So
that's so cool.
Just rolling the marble around and mixing my colors to make some type of pattern. However it comes off. And you can do side to side. If you want it more swirly, you can go corner to corner. If you're able to move your hands around, maybe I want to make the next.
And it looks like the contrast is really important too. Those contrasting colors really makes it pop.
Yes, so that's why you want to do a lighter color in the background, as you can see, which is why I had mentioned, like, decide your background color. Start with your lighter colors underneath and layer the darker colors, because it's all going to swirl together. But if you do have your lighter color underneath, it will help. And as you can see, this is what makes the Liquitex makes the paint flowy. So if you can see closely, like, it's still moving.
You can see it.
You can see it moving. So if you can use your marble to start, but then you can also just shift it around like this, and get it even to drip off the sides if you'd like. I'll hold it still so you can see it running, right?
Yeah,
And
totally.
that makes a nice, like, stretchy, elongated look. And maybe you do want it to drip off the sides in one area, but not another. So again, remember, it's, if you want it to drip off, just make sure you're over your foil so that it runs off there. And then once you're happy with your finished product, just lay it down to dry. And it's still very drippy and runny, so make sure you are laying it flat, so that it doesn't change on you the way, you know, you love that look, and one, you know, little piece could run in another direction, and then you're not happy with it. But if, you know, you wanted to, you could also take one of your sticks, and you can start to circle around in here also with a stick, and you know, make pattern in it if you'd like, or anything like that. You can get creative with it that way. So marbling with a stick. Historic marbling was actually originally done on paper using sticks. So if you don't like the marble or don't want the drippy paint on your workspace, use the stick to drag and dry a design in the paint. Although marbling was originally done on paper, paper is not a suggested material to use with flow aid. It will absorb and go right through the paper, as I've mentioned before.
Right. Right. Well, this is great. While everybody's working on their craft, I'm going to tell folks, if it's okay, about about the values that are associated with kind of art appreciation. You mentioned some like controversy earlier. Indeed, art is often associated with controversy and, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Art is also associated with being reflective, meaning we are thoughtful about art, but also we are reflexive, which is kind of thinking about ourselves in relation to art. And so that reflectiveness and reflexiveness are important values for the art, are kind of the idea of understanding art appreciation, as well as it's not so surprising that associated with, that looks so cool, with art appreciation is the idea of inspiration, that we're inspired by art. For example, looking at that, I haven't done this today, but that's inspiring me to do another one myself. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just going to place this down. So in this way, the value of art is also a value, right? So in other words, art for its own sake, as an expression, as the expression goes, but it also has a value. So it could be financial, what it's worth, or what the artist gets paid for it. But it could also be what it's worth personally, for us, sentimental, emotional, spiritual. So
that makes a lot of sense. And another great value is that us that you just mentioned. You know, engaging with an audience is so important for art. It's really something we think about when we think of like art, is that audience interaction. How does the art interact with its landscape, its context, its location? How does it engage the people who are experiencing the art? And art can even be interactive. So for example, so we're in Manhattan, and in Washington, not Washington, Astor Place in Manhattan, there's this big cube. I don't know if you can do it anymore, but you used to be able to push the cube. So it's huge. It's like, you know, as tall as 2, 3, 4 people, and really heavy, but it's on its axis. And you can actually just go there and push the cube. And so what would happen is lots of people would get together and go there, and, you know, it takes a little effort to push the cube. You'd all go there and really kind of teamwork push this cube together. And so it was like an interactive way to experience this art. So it was really cool. And I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know if you can still push the cube, but it is there as far as I know still. But you could see this in like children's museums a lot. They have the art interactive at children's museums so children can experience it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could probably all remember times when we have interacted in art somewhere.
Absolutely. And you know, while folks are interacting with their art and finishing up this craft, I wanted to share the you know, something about the importance of art with children, and that was recognized in 1965 when I think it's the Elementary and Secondary Education Act established in like an official way that art and music are part of a well-rounded K through 12 education. And we all kind of take that for granted, like, oh, of course there should be art in schools, but sometimes, you know, depending on funding, often art is, you know, potentially the first to get cut. So that really established like, no, really, like art is an important thing, whether it's music or other forms of art. It sounds obvious, but you know, we don't necessarily always realize really that kind of interaction with art could really be impactful for a child's life. For example, research has shown, one research, for example, showed that low-income students who had arts-rich instruction in school were 5 times less likely to drop out of school. Think about 5 times less likely to drop out of school and 4 times more likely to get a bachelor's degree.
Oh, wow. I can totally see that to be true.
Yeah, for sure. So how much do we have left to do?
Really, that's it. So there's one final step actually just to discuss is cleanup.
Okay,
So
fair
yeah,
enough.
because we're using, as you can see, it's a little messy, as we mentioned. But it's important to note that the fluid is non-toxic. If you do plan to throw away any leftover mixture of paint, it is best to soak it up with paper towels. I will say though, just to note, these will stay in the cup. So if you've made one with our kit and you want to go out and get some other canvas and play around a little more on your own, keep the cup because it will stay as a mixture and it won't dry up so fast. Maybe every once in a while, like go out the next day and just mix it up a little bit more. But when you're finished, do soak it up with towels, paper towels, napkins before disposing in the trash. Do not also dispose of any extra Liquitex mixture down your drain. So soak it up with towels and old sock, you know, all those extra socks we have, soak it up, those unmatched socks, and throw it in the trash. So that is really all I needed to say about cleanup. Definitely, if you have any questions, you can reach out, throw them in the chat. We'd love to see any finished products that you have. Please send them, post them on our website. I love this craft. I just love the flow and just the idea of adding something to paint that to make it, you know, move in a way that we can manipulate it. I think is awesome. So, so have fun, and definitely remember to lay it flat, let it dry. It will take actually just a couple of hours to dry. You'll see that it starts to you know, it's not tacky. So just give it some time to dry for yourselves and enjoy. Have a great time.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to Stacy and Stacy K. That was a lovely craft, lovely event. Sorry, just a second.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Stacey. That was great.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully we get to see some finished products. Because I love to see everybody's marble pour artwork.
Yeah, and just as you might like to continue to learn more about marble pour art, we hope you continue to learn about art appreciation. To help, we'll send our event video and infographic in a follow-up email by the end of next week, which we encourage you to share with others. Also, please consider committing to a weekly act centered on art appreciation. Getting informed by coming to this event is a great way to start, but we also encourage you to approach art wherever you come to interact with it, with curiosity and an open mind. Learn about one of the world's most well-known artists, William Shakespeare. Go to one of his plays. Learn about the history of theater and gender roles in Shakespearean times. You can read Shakespeare online for free. Pay attention to movie credits and learn who's behind the art you consume in all aspects. It's the equivalent of clapping at a music performance. And remember to share our infographic too. Our email will include another brief survey of what you thought of the event. Please take the time to respond. Your feedback is very important to us. And please take a moment right now to take our click poll, and these are not the same results you will get in the survey, same questions. Our schedule for the year is posted again on our website at www.informyourcommunity.org. Tickets, materials, and shipping are free for our online crafting events, so please sign up. Remember, only those signed up a week before the events will receive the kits mailed to their homes. And to look for and learn about greater Inform Your Community events, not only our Craftivism program, but events from other programs as well, please check out our website again, www.informyourcommunity.org. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And also please consider donating to cover the cost of materials and shipping if you can afford it, as it keeps our events free for those who can't. And one last time, thank you for coming and for helping inform your communities based on what you learned today. Take care.